Is that her? Professor Lydia Harrow squinted through the tinted window of her office, eyes narrowing at the sleek black stretch limo gliding to a halt by the university gates. The kind of entrance reserved for celebrities, CEOs, or someone with a score to settle. The back door opened slowly, deliberately. First came the red bottom heels, then the glossed legs, then the woman herself, wrapped in a tailored white suit like she'd just stepped out of a Vogue cover shoot. Sunglasses, crimson lips, and a presence that made heads snap and jaws slacken. It was her. Vanessa Cole. Lydia turned from the window, suddenly aware of the staff room buzz building behind her. Whispers filled the air like static. That's her from the magazine. Did you see the car? She's speaking at the entrepreneurship panel, right? Harrow clutched her coffee tighter. Vanessa stepped onto the campus like a runway. Students swarmed around her, snapping photos, asking questions. The dean himself met her with a handshake and a grin. Miss Cole, welcome back to Browning University. Vanessa's smile was slow, deliberate. Please. Just Vanessa. She removed her glasses. I'm here to inspire the next batch of misfits. Everyone laughed. Everyone except Harrow. Years ago, Browning University, freshman year. Vanessa wasn't the typical psych student. She walked into class with glossy curls, bold eyeliner, and ambition that filled the room before she spoke. While most students buried their heads in books, she was already pitching ideas about emotional branding, consumer self-esteem, and the psychology of beauty in a media-drenched age. But every time she raised her hand in Professor Harrow's class, it came with a consequence. I suggest you focus less on mascara and more on measurable theory, Harrow once quipped, drawing a scattered chuckle from the class. Another day, when Vanessa submitted a paper titled The Mirror Economy, How Beauty Drives Modern Decision-Making, Harrow marked it with a red slash and the note, impressive vocabulary, but not a real thesis. Try harder. By sophomore year, Vanessa stopped raising her hand. She worked alone. Late nights in the library. Obsessive focus. Building prototypes for beauty psych apps. Recording interviews with users. Pitching to people off campus. She learned to stop seeking approval and start planning revenge. Quiet, glowing, strategic revenge. Once the underdog of Harrow's behavioral psych class. The one she'd called a glittery distraction with no substance. The girl who'd pitched a thesis on beauty marketing and self-worth, only to be told, you can't sell brains with blush, Miss Cole. Guess what Vanessa just sold? 3 hours earlier. The limo ride was smooth, but Vanessa's heart was pounding. Not from nerves, from anticipation. A decade of silence. A decade of building the empire Harrow said was impossible. Her company, Visage Influence Incorporated, now owned 4 sub-brands, 3 wellness apps, and had just signed a global deal with Dior. She had a best-selling book, a docu-series in production, and tonight, a keynote that would go viral before dessert. But first, this visit. She'd made sure Harrow was invited to the lecture. She'd made sure her old professor would be seated in the front row. Back to the present. The lecture hall was electric. Students sat on the stairs. Faculty crammed near the back. Harrow, seated stiffly in front, wore a tight-lipped expression as Vanessa took the stage. No PowerPoint. No notes. Just Vanessa, a clicker, and an LED screen reading. The psychology of underestimation, and why it's my greatest weapon. Boom. Hook, line, and mic drop. As she spoke, casual, charismatic, cutting, Vanessa weaved in stories of rejection cloaked as advice, doubt marketed as mentorship. She told the story of a professor who mocked her idea, suggested she tone it down, because real intellect doesn't wear lipstick. The audience gasped. She smiled. She never said Harrow's name, but every person in that room knew. After the talk, applause shook the walls. As students swarmed the stage, surrounded her for selfies and autographs, Harrow slipped out the side door. But Vanessa was faster. She was already waiting by the stairs, arms folded. Leaving so soon? She asked. I thought we'd catch up. Harrow froze. Vanessa, I must admit, Harrow said. You've surprised me. You were wrong, you know, Vanessa said, voice soft but sharp. About me. About what people want. You taught me more than anyone, though. You taught me what gatekeeping looks like. I was trying to help you. I judged too quickly. Vanessa stepped closer, her tone velvet. No, you were trying to shape me into your version of smart. I chose my own version. You judged correctly. Based on who you are. You just didn't account for who I'd become. A pause. Then. You've changed, Harrow said. No, Vanessa corrected. I just stopped shrinking. You're welcome, by the way, Vanessa added. Your students asked me to mentor. I said yes. Harrow's eyes flickered. You're coming back. Vanessa's smile turned lethal. Just visiting. But I'll be around. As the limo pulled away from campus, Vanessa looked back once. Not at the buildings. Not at the students. At the silhouette of a woman in a corner window, watching. Still sitting in that same office. Still doubting. Still losing. 1 week later, an email went out to all psych majors. New guest mentor series. Vanessa Cole, CEO of Visage Influence Incorporated, will be offering workshops on branding and self-perception, female entrepreneurship, turning criticism into currency. In Harrow's office, the flyer was already pinned on the corkboard by someone else. Lydia stared at it in silence, then opened her drawer and pulled out a dusty folder. Vanessa Cole, Behavioral Psych 203, Midterm Feedback. She flipped it open. There in red pen, "You'll never influence minds with makeup." She crumpled the page. But the damage was already done.